motherfuckers to talk tonight. Let's see. Come on in here. It's a lot of weed right there. Let's see what these motherfuckers are talking about tonight. What's up, Evan? Fire. Shit is fire. What y'all up to, man? What you niggas talking about? What's up, BB Bulger? Any thoughts about the Planet Parade? What do you mean by Planet Parade? What's up? What do you mean by Planet Parade? Taekwondo said I was first. Yeah, Evan, you've been shooting pretty low percentage for a while now, bro. I'm gonna need you to get it together. Bro. Ain't enough weed for that joint. I got all kind of weed laying around here. I probably got like 4 ounces of weed. What's up, Sinister? Oh, you have a piano composition you just finished? That's what's up. Zinfandel, Brown Winery, Napa, California. So the best wine you can find, black-owned winery. They ain't the cheapest, but they some good-ass wine, shit. BB, I'm just trying to figure out what the Planet Parade was. The King Palm Leaf Rolls, yeah, they cool. Them King Palms is cool. This is what I fuck with though. This is what I've been on right here. But I'm sorry. These billionaires. The billionaire hemp do raw papers a lot, but papers keep papers. You be smoking papers, and it's like, damn. If you don't hit that shit twice, it's going out. What's up, COVID Goon? Oh, you bought a quarter acre in Florida for $18K? That's what's up. Oh, these be the case? Man, salute to you, brother, man. Salute to you. What's up, man? Herb John, yeah, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Oh, the planets aligning. I heard a little bit about that. I've been so deep in study with cardology. I've been out of certain things as far as the planets and goes. Yeah, no, I'm all up into the sky. I know that Pluto's about to go in retrograde. I know that. And Pluto is a planet of dark secrets. Pluto is a planet of the deep subconscious. So when Pluto goes in a retrograde, people are going to start seeing a lot of subconscious issues start to come out and arise. Yeah, cardology, that's the study of cards. You know, when you deal with your playing cards, your playing deck, they all have a meaning to it, and you can read people based on the cards. Yeah, Black Moon tonight, yep. Cardology, study a card, and I'm doing it mostly for my relationship coaching business to be able to really counsel people in their relationships more through their cards. And I'm getting pretty good at it, but I'm not going to really reveal that to y'all for another few. I'm in school really learning that right now. I'm back in school learning that. Like the hearts are emotion, or if your card has a heart in it, that means you more so led by your emotions. If you're a club, you're a great teacher. I'm a club. I'm king of clubs. That's my card. The diamonds are some fancy motherfuckers, and the spades are the most complicated. You're dealing with a person that's a spade. Very complicated. Well, that's the science I'm gonna be revealing to y'all later on. For now, I don't know it well enough to teach. Well, I'm not gonna ever teach it to y'all. I'm just gonna use it, but I don't know it well. I don't know that science well enough to give readings yet. But I'm learning it. Readings. I've given 2 readings so far, and I've been right. Yep, I'm learning cards right now. I didn't realize I be forgetting how things like cardology and tarot. I be forgetting how much that shit scares people who come from church. I be forgetting that because it was once a time in my life that I would have been scared of this shit too. There was a time in my life I would have been scared with it. I be forgetting that shit scared people. I'm about to leave out my man cave. My man cave back here has horrible cell phone coverage. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yep. It did. Church should have your ass scared as hell. No, it ain't no Wi-Fi in my man cave. You real talk, COVID goon. Fear is a primary weapon. Fear is a primary weapon used to control because here's the reason why. When it comes to fear, that's biological. We have 3 brains. We have our reptilian brain that's close to your spine. You got your midbrain, and you got your frontal cortex. All your reasoning, logic, and all that stuff is in your frontal cortex. But the fear part of the brain is the first part of the brain. And if they get you caught up in fear, you don't think. You can't think. It's literally physically impossible to think logically when you're in fear. See here. It is impossible to think with logic when you're caught in fear. So the way to control people is through fear. If you make things so big, so scary, so out there, people don't do it. And they won't even try it. Yeah, like if I back in the day, you say you wanna oh yeah, KG, yeah. Well, that's the thing with fear. That's how we're manipulated. We're manipulated through fear because they know because the fear is in the, like I said, it's down there in the lower stem of your brain. That's what the fear is. That's that part of the brain, that fight or flight response. And once you're caught in fear, the signals that you're seeing around you will never reach the front of your brain as long as you're scared. So, hell, but the deeper I understand astrology and cardology and all this shit, the more I understand it, the more I understand why they keep us in fear from this. I'm telling y'all right now, I wouldn't have been doing none of this shit 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I wouldn't be doing none of this shit I'm doing right now as far as like numerology and the esoteric information. Man, church had me scared to the motherfucker, boy. I am not gonna sit here and act like I'm better than nobody else, nigga. Church had me scared as fuck. I thought if I learned some shit like tarot cards, I really, honestly, I thought, like when I was younger, when I was in my teens and my 20s, I thought if I did tarot cards, that, man, Jesus ain't gonna fuck with me no more. I thought that shit back in the day. My mind was caught up in all that bullshit. I really thought that was like, hell no, I ain't learning that shit. Nope. You ain't gonna have Jesus kicking my ass. I'm not taking calls now because I'm on the phone, I'm on live, but I'm gonna start doing readings in June, okay? I'm gonna start doing readings in June. Because I'm taking a class. I take a class. I'm in like a real intense class on this shit. And they told us we're gonna start doing readings in June. Like I don't want to give, like I'm giving some people, like I'm giving like Larry readings. What up, man? But for the most part, I'm doing relationship. I'm doing individual readings, but for the most part, my focus is gonna be on relationship readings. How to read relationship, if someone's compatible for you, how to talk to them, how to get along, all that shit. Yeah, you said it's huge in Salem? That's what's up. Yeah, that shit is you're right about the astrology is, and the cardology is, these are all gifts from God. They're all maps. They're all road maps, because everyone has a unique personality. And when I pull up your card, that's where I term pulling your card from. When I pull your card, I can tell you what you're good at, what you're not good at. I can tell you how you communicate, how you love, how you are in relationships, what's in your subconscious, on the deep subconscious and higher up in your subconscious. Man, this shit is so goddamn accurate, boy. You can read when death is coming, although I stay away from that. But you can read. You don't know who's gonna die. But if a certain card comes up, I'm not gonna tell you guys that card, but if a certain card come up, yeah. And if that card comes up in either in your Jupiter, yeah, you can tell that someone's close to you. You can read all that shit. You can read all that. If you don't, KG, hit me up. Like what you could do. I can give KG. I can get you a mini reading. I can get you like a short mini reading and tell you like who's compatible for you and not. Just email me info@hotepish.com. Yeah. It wasn't my thing either when I was your age, Evan. I appreciate that, Enrico. Evan, when I was your age, I wasn't. Evan, when I was your age, if someone told me it's gonna give me a tarot reading, I would have clowned the fuck out of them from their toes to their ears, nigga. Like, if you don't get the fuck out of my face. But that's the thing with life. Life, you go through different stages, you grow. You know, every 7 years, you're going through a new cycle in life. Every 7 years, you have a different phase that you're going through. You in your, if Evan, I think you said you're 23, you're in your early 20s. That means you're in your Venus years. You're in your Mars Venus years. You're 22, yeah. I said 22. That means you're in your Mercury, Venus. You're in your Mars years. Mars is when you're learning how to confront the world. Mars is the planet of confrontation, the planet of justice. Well, planet of justice is Saturn, but Mars has justice in it too. So during your Mars years, those are the years that you really learning how to confront life, how to deal with life. That's you. That's the phase you in right now. 22 years old. You just entered your Mars years last year. You'll be in your Mars years until you're 27. 28 is when you really start to apply those lessons that you learned from your earlier years. Oh, and also I got a new sponsor. Shouts out to King Simon. He's going to send me his ad. Start on my show Monday. I'm gonna have King Simon's. He's come on board as a sponsor to the show. King Simon's the fucking greatest numerologist you'll ever want a reading from. I've been running this commercial starting on Monday, but yeah, shout out to my new sponsor, King Simon, the greatest numerologist on the planet. 34. You're going into those Jupiter years. Jupiter years. See, I can't read you right now as by age. Like there's spread. Every age you have has a spread, and I have to know your card. Once I know your birthday, I can find your card, and then I can give you a reading over your general life, and I can also give you year-to-year readings, and I can also give you a reading for your next 7 years. I could also give you a 7-week reading. But let me tell you something about cardology and astronomy. I realized this. I had a numerology reading from King Simon. I've had 2 from him. I had 2, and what I realized on my second reading with King Simon, and then I had like an astrological reading the next week after that. What I realized was whether I'm dealing with numerology, same thing with cardology when I read myself. What I really found out, let me tell you something what I found out. And this will make me buy into it 100%. Because I am the most skeptical ass nigga there is when it comes to shit like astrology. All these ologies and shit, I'm telling y'all right now, DwannBrown was not fucking with that shit. Like, I'm like, if you don't get that shit out my face. The reason why I'm 100% into it is because when I would get the readings, I would see that the things that the reading was pointing me to was a direction my intuition had been told me to go. It was like every time I got a reading, and it's like every time I read myself a cardology, what I read in the cards or what I would get in a reading from someone else is basically what my instincts was kind of telling me to do anyway. But I was either scared to do that or I was just flat out ignoring it. Like, yeah, I know my instinct told me to do this shit to go left, but I'm going to go right. Because I could be very stubborn. So whether it be an astrology reading, a numerology reading, a cardology reading, every reading I've ever gotten has told me what my instincts were already telling me to do. That's what made me be like, okay, this shit is real. Because I know my instincts was telling me to make that left. And then I go get a reading, and the reading says, okay, Dwan, when you get to that corner, make that left. That's what made me be like, okay, this shit, maybe this ain't a pseudoscience. Maybe it's something to this. I told you niggas, I was born and raised in church. I didn't believe none of this shit. And nor did I want to believe. Hell, I still don't believe. I apply. Like, you do this shit, and it's a science you can apply. Yeah, Shakur Stevens whooped that motherfucker's ass. Oh, pure. He a drug cheat? Well, he's in Canelo's camp, so he is a drug cheat. Yeah, BB, it's definitely a science. Yeah, it's definitely a science. I'm like, okay, this thing consistently tells me to do what my instincts told me to do. And when I got my first cardology reading, shit, I got this Porsche light on. When I got this cardology reading, and it was telling me about who I am as a king of clubs, I was like, man, this shit's so goddamn accurate, y'all. Man. So I had to learn the science. Y'all know me, I'm a learned nigga. So when I saw how well it worked, I was like, you know what? I gotta learn this shit. I have to learn this because I'm already like what I do by trade. My trade is I'm a healer. That's what I do. Like I repair relationships. I love doing this shit. Like I like sitting down with people and helping them solve their problems. I love this shit. And I've been doing relationship coaching for a long time now. And coaching like with parents and their children, those type of relationships. I've been doing that for a little while now. So when I found out about the science of cardology, I was like, do you know how much better I can be at what I do? Because the hardest part about counseling people in relationships is people don't tell the truth. And I can't help you. I can't help you if you don't tell me the truth. And what people do is they tell you the superficial truths, but they won't tell you those deep down truths. And the deep down truths are the things that's holding you back from having successful relationships with people. It's those deep down thoughts that you think you weird if you say it. Thing is, no, you're not weird for saying that. We all, 100% of us got some weird shit that we think about. 100% of us got something about us that's totally fucked up. All of us. And we all got some shit about us that we think if somebody else found out, we would be the worst scum on earth. We all got that. So when it comes to relationships, no matter how good your intentions are, those deep down thoughts are the things that either one, prevent you from getting in a relationship, or two, you're in a relationship, they prevent you from really getting everything you want and desire out of your relationship. And you start blaming it on the person that you're with. When the truth is, it's something inside of you that you have not dealt with. And if you tell me that as a counselor, as a coach, I can help fix your relationship. Or some shit so detrimental, I could tell you, hey, look, with this going on, y'all may not work. Because everybody ain't gonna work. But it's best to know that, you know what I mean, than it is to walk around in fantasy land. So when I picked up the science of cardology, that was so I can be better at what I do. It's like, you know what? If I learning these cards, I'll be able to find those subconscious issues within people without them ever telling me. And that's why I did it. I'm like, I want to be able to help people find this. And sometimes you may have a subconscious thing inside of you that you're not even aware of. Well, hell, most of the time, a lot of the subconscious stuff that's going on inside of us, we're not even aware of. And so, like what I do, I'm not a psychologist. You're not gonna come to me and sit on my couch for 2 or 3 years for me to work out your problems. I like to work out people's relationship problems in a few sessions. Here's the issue. Here's the map. Now go along your merry way and do this shit. I'm not here to be counseling people for 6 months or a year, 2 years. Like the longest I want to go is 6 months with somebody. That's the longest I want to go. I'd rather have people out in 5, 6, 7 sessions. But now learning cardology, nigga, I'm gonna be the dopest motherfucker on earth when it comes to this shit. Yeah, it's a lot of bitter messages out there. I appreciate that, Marcia Bryan. Yeah, it's a lot of bitter people out there talking about relationships. That's why I'm talking about it more. My wife has been telling me I should talk more about relationships for 3 years now. And when your wife tells you you should be talking about relationships, who better to put you out there than your wife? But my wife told me I should talk more about relationships because she saw the work that I do with our relationship. She sees how I get down with us. and she appreciates my get down. So my wife was the first person to tell me you should talk more about relationships. And of course, being a husband, I didn't listen. I didn't listen for a couple years. But then I started listening to somebody. I just became aware of this thing called a Menosphere in the last 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. I didn't know what a Menosphere was. But like at the end of 2020, that's when I started finding out what this whole Menosphere thing is. And then I heard like I listened to Kevin Samuels for about 4 months before I made a decision. Excuse me. I don't like to make decisions on people, listen to them once or twice, because anybody could be off 2 or 3 times. I listened to him for about 3 or 4 months before I made, because I went in thinking, okay, he full of shit. But then, and I was like, okay, and he's kind of, his style is a ripoff of the Black Channel. But I was like, let me give this motherfucker. So I listened to him, but the more I listened, I was like, yeah, he says a lot of good, Kevin Samuels says a lot of good stuff. 80% of what Kevin Samuels says is legit. Let me tell you that right now. I would say good 80. I would go as high as 80% of what Kevin Samuels says is fairly useful information. Here's the problem. He's just like a preacher in church. 80% of what they say in church is useful information too. But if I give you useful information, but I don't show you how to apply it, that means the information isn't useful. I can tell you about a screwdriver, how well a screw works, how to drill a screw hole, how to fix a screw hole. I can tell you all these truths about a screw hole and a screw. But if I give you a set of pliers and say, okay, now here are these pliers. Now unscrew that screw. Question. Can you unscrew that screw with a set of pliers? I gave you nothing but facts about screws and how screws work, how to use screw, how to screw things, how to drill screws, how to unscrew. But if the solution I give you, and you trust me, if I give you a set of pliers or a wrench as the solution, can you ever apply the solution? No. So that's what he does. He gives you a lot of really, really good game. And then tells you, okay, fellas, you want to make sure you ask a woman what she brings to the table? Like, nigga, what? Then he said, I remember one show I saw with Kevin Samuels, he said a woman needs to give a man a gift, a one-time gift, like not one purchase, not over a bunch of purchases. She needs to spend at least $500 on a man. And when I heard that shit, I'm like, this nigga's telling a generation of young men that they basically need to be kept like a woman. Let me tell you something, young niggas. Men give. We provide. That's our role in nature. Men have dicks. That means we have poles. Women have pussies. That means they have holes. Look at nature, poles and holes. Look at a plug. You got a plug. I appreciate the Cash App. KJ, I appreciate the Cash App. Look at a plug. A plug has a male end and a female end. Can the socket plug the plug? No. The plug got to be the one that fills the socket. The pole got to be one that fills the hole. It's no different in nature when it comes to life. Men, we provide. That's it. If you start saying, okay, what is a woman going to provide for me? Now you're out of order. Now you're out of order. If the plug sits on the table and waits for the socket to get in the plug, will that ever work? No matter how strong you are, you cannot remove your socket from the wall and take it over to the plug. No, you gotta plug that plug in the socket. That's how nature works. That's how the relationship and the dynamic between men and women work. So the minute the men start asking the women to jump into a man's role, you've entered the relationship out of order. You say you're born at the end of February. What's your birthday, Evan? Yeah, if you're getting pulled towards healing, then do it. Healing's what I do. Like, I'm a stand-up comedian. That's what I do as a comedian. I heal. I'm a relationship counselor, coach. I heal. I come in. Look what I do with y'all. I respect y'all too much to talk about gossip. I don't gossip to y'all when I come to your channel. I don't spread rumors. I come in here. I use YouTube to spread information, and my whole goal is whatever the fuck I say, if it ring a bell in your ear, you pick it up and do more with it. That's my only agenda on YouTube. Yeah, I got a Patreon for deeper information. Because for my book I just wrote, y'all know I wrote my book. I'm going to teach a class on that book, and that's going to be on Patreon. But still, that's an energy exchange. I'm great at what I do. So what I charge at Patreon, that's for that's just for people who can't afford it. Cause I'm really good at what I do. Like go to motherfucking Google and Yelp and Google Breakthrough Advocacy Services and look at all them 5-star reviews that I got up there. I'm fucking great at what I do. But what I do it to help heal people. But my point of view is always coming from me. I'm always trying to heal myself. Ain't none of us perfect. Like, I be using the methods I use to fix my issues are the messages I use to help people fix theirs. You can get that, Evan. Evan, your birthday is February 28th. February 25th is King of Clubs, so that means the 26th is Queen of Clubs. The 27th is Jack of Clubs. Oh, Evan, you attend the clubs. What's up, Try Hippie? I said, I'm Yoda. Yeah, get on the Patreon. The $28 link is the one I'm doing my courses on. But yeah, I think you're 10 of clubs, Evan. You're 28th of February. Because my dad's 25th. He's the king of clubs, queen of clubs 26, jack of clubs. Yeah, you're. That means you're a teacher. Somebody said a little sensitive. How am I sensitive? Let me tell you something. Last thing first. There ain't nothing you internet niggas can do to shuffle my emotions. The only thing I do is defend my space. I got respect for other people and what they have to say. But if you come telling me I'm wrong, I'm going to make you stand on it. So some people can read that as sensitive, and that's fine if you read it that way. I'm just the kind of person, if you say I'm wrong and you say you're right, I'm going to tell you to prove it. The problem is most people ain't ready to prove what they say. Most people are used to just saying what they say, and people just accepting it and believing it and not following up. I'm the kind of person, if you say something, nigga, you better prove that shit. And if you can't prove it, I don't take you serious. You say you respect with the law, yep. Yeah, Evan, back to you. You're a 10 of clubs. I'm fairly familiar with 10 of clubs people. 10 of clubs people are musicians. 10 of clubs are teachers. It was funny. I was just doing a reading with my father-in-law just a couple hours ago. He's attending clubs, and I was telling him and he's like one of the greatest music producers ever. We were talking about music, and I didn't realize it was 40 years ago. Last month, he released an album with Atlantic. He went #1 with Atlantic Star on the R&B charts, and he went #1 with Lionel Richie, and he sold 10 million albums. I didn't realize he sold 10. This dude sold 10 million albums. This dude sold 10 million albums in 1982, a year after Thriller came out. Well, what's up, Shell? Yeah. Yeah. I got you. You know, I'll be out here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you been working. Shit. Have a good one. He sold 10 million albums, and he's a king of clubs. I'm sorry, king club. He's a 10 of clubs, like you, Evan. And I was telling him when I was reading him earlier, I was like, one of the reasons why I think he has so much success with Lionel Richie, because Lionel Richie's also a 10 of clubs, but Lionel Richie's a 10 of clubs in Gemini, and he's a 10 of clubs in Virgo. Evan, you're a 10 of clubs at, I think, Pisces. Yeah. You're 10 of clubs in Pisces. Okay, I got to do a reading on a 10 of club, but yeah, Evan, you're doing the right thing. What you've been in 10 of clubs, music is a natural thing for you, and so is teaching. That's the music and teaching are natural paths for anybody who is a 10 of clubs. All right? Born in 82. See, Chicago, I don't know every card off the top of my head like that. I knew Evan's card off the top of my head because I know where certain cards are placed in the calendar, so I can backtrack. Like, I was able to measure his 10 of clubs because he gave me his birthday February 28th. My dad's birthday is February 25th. That's how I know my dad's a king of clubs. So I was able to count the cards backwards for Evan. If you just give me a birthday, I don't know Cardology yet well enough off the top of my head. Now, if I have my spread in front of me, I can find it out, but I don't feel like going to my house and opening my books right now. And if I pulled it up on the phone, I would close out on YouTube. What's up, Netta J? Good seeing you in the chat room. You're 53187. I don't know off the top of my head, god damn it. But yeah, Gemini. Yeah, try basketball. Evan, basketball coach is good. I got my start. I got my start in basketball coaching. Like one of my early years of teaching and spreading information, that shit started out with coaching basketball. Hey, Gemini, I'm a Gemini. People be telling me I need to get on TikTok, but I'm telling y'all right now, I don't like editing. I don't feel like doing a little 1-minute video, then editing that shit and putting it out. Like, I'm looking to hire somebody to edit some of my shit and put it on TikTok for me. I'm looking to hire somebody. I'm thinking about hiring somebody to do that. What up, Mel Smith? What do you think about, what do I think about the Screaming A's? Stephen A. Oh, man, look, let me tell you something about Stephen A. Smith, Bruce. This is the way I see it. You gotta look at life. The way I look at life is the same way I look at sports. Sports is a great allegory for life. You got a point guard, you got a center, you got a power forward. Everybody has the roles 1 through 5. you got your TV announcers, you got your coaches. And no matter how much the people change, the game stays the same. Remember that. So the Lakers point guard at one point was Magic Johnson. Then after that, there was Nick Van Exel, then Ron Harper and Derek Fisher. Now it's Russell Westbrook. Different players, same game. Why am I saying that? When it comes to your sports announcers, whether it be ESPN or Fox Sports or Barstool Sports or whatever, they need black men to say the things that white men want to say but can't say. That's a very necessary component, especially since Disney bought ESPN. So what they're going to do in sports is they're always going to have a group of black men, and usually the highest paid black man, his job is to attack black men that think for themselves, attack black men that aren't part of the small minority of acceptable Negroes. In basketball, LeBron James, Steph Curry, those are your only two acceptable foundational black American Negroes. If James Harden wipes his nose wrong, they're going to shit on him. ESPN shits on foundational black American men. They generally only have one or two that they leave alone. They don't really shit on immigrants. You'll never see them shit on Giannis. You'll never see them shit on Jokic. You'll never see them shit on none of them players. They never said a bad thing about Tim Duncan. Even though he would oftentimes get broken late in games and do dumb shit because he was from the Virgin Islands. So why am I'm taking you on the long road here. The reason why I'm taking you on the long road is understand this. Stephen A. Smith's job, just like Jason Whitlock's job, is to shit on black men as aggressively and as staunchly as the FCC will allow. Say all of the things that white men want to say. So please understand this. If you're dealing with a black athlete that's not one of the 2 or 3 acceptable Negroes, and said black athlete uses his own mind, Stephen A. Smith will 100% of the time do backflips, cartwheels to shit on that nigga. It's like clockwork. 11/11 happens at the same time every day, twice a day. That's what's going to happen if a black athlete uses his own mind and has any bit of independence. Stephen A. Smith is going to shit on him. So I don't pay attention to Stephen A. Smith's rants. I know what Stephen A. Smith is going to do. The same way I know a point guard, whoever my point guard is for the Lakers, the same way I know they're going to get the ball and distribute the ball like a point guard should. The same way I know if you're going to play center, you're going to have back to the basket game. You're going to want to play close to the rim. The same way I know every quarterback, whether that quarterback is Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, or fucking Andrew Luck, they're going to bounce back and they're going to pass the ball. So I know, without a shadow of a doubt, whoever the highest paid Negro is at ESPN, there's going to be a whole bunch of them, but the highest paid, most notable Negro is going to get the most camera time to what? Shit on black men. That's why I don't watch ESPN. That's why I don't watch Fox Sports. I stopped watching that shit in 2012. Mind you, I saw the first episode of Cold Pizza. Cold Pizza is what it was before it was called First Take. Yeah, I've been watching ESPN since they had tree trimming contests at 1 p.m. So it took a whole lot for me to stop watching ESPN. So just know that. Don't let the game get you flustered, black people. Don't let the game frustrate you. Understand the game for what it is. And when you see it, if you have a child or a young person around you, debrief them as to what the game is so that they don't pick up those subconscious messages that they're trying to send out. Know that without a shadow of a doubt, if a black man uses his own mind, Stephen A. Smith is going to outdo himself shitting on that black man. Just expect it and stop watching that shit. It's better things that we have than ESPN. ESPN has been the death of black men. I'm telling y'all, like, ESPN ain't good for us, man. We don't handle ESPN well as a culture. I wish we did, but I'm just telling you the truth. And I told y'all, I went to the ESPN party at the Playboy Mansion when they were out here for All-Star Weekend in 2012. I went to the Playboy Mansion. I've met Stuart Scott. I have people I know that went to the ESPN broadcast school and worked at ESPN. I know about ESPN. That's just the death of black men. We need to, if there's one thing I wish black men to divorce ourselves from, is ESPN. Watch the game, then when the game is over with, go back to living your life. Fuck them ESPN channels. What's up, Goran? What's up, Gilly Land? And here's the thing about it. Y'all saying they love D Wade. No. They love D Wade now because he's retired and gay. When Dwayne Wade was leading the Miami Heat to the championships, they was telling you niggas it was LeBron James the whole time because LeBron James had the stats. They weren't pointing out the fact that the 2 times the Miami Heat won was when Dwayne Wade was making all the critical shots, making the key plays, making the biggest stops that would allow LeBron James to get his highlight dunks and monster statistics. Well, because what LeBron would do in the first 2 quarters is just come out and build up big numbers. But something about basketball, especially playoff basketball is won in a minute, 2 minutes. Whoever had the better 2-minute stretch in playoff basketball is the team that wins the game. Meaning, teams go back and forth. But if you have to say, let's say when a team goes on a run, how well that run is managed is going to be the difference between a win or a loss. So when you have a team that hit 2 shots in a row and it feels like they're going to go on a run, what you need is a player that's going to hit a shot at that moment, because the way to bust a run is 2 ways to bust a run: a defensive stop or a made basket. Basketball is not about how much you score, it's about when you score. So whenever it will be time, you'll feel the other team getting ready to go on a run, it will be Dwayne Wade that will hit the key shot to stop the run. It will be Dwayne Wade in the 4th quarter of those Heat games, because go back to Dallas. When Miami Heat played Dallas in the finals, the Miami Heat were up 16 points in the 3rd quarter of Game 3. They were about to go up 3-0. LeBron started dancing and celebrating, and the Dallas Mavericks came back, won that game, and won the next 4 games. That series, Dwayne Wade was being very passive and giving the ball to LeBron, like, LeBron, do something. LeBron was, it was one game where it was a couple games where he only took 2 shots in the 4th quarter. And Dwayne Wade was being passive to LeBron, and they lost. What happened the next year against the Thunder and the following year against the Spurs? When it came time to win, Dwayne Wade played big. And to me, that's why I still have Dwayne Wade as the 3rd greatest shooting guard of all time, behind Kobe and Jordan, and still ahead of James Harden, because Dwayne Wade, when it came time to win, was that nigga. But the media told y'all it was LeBron. So me tripping on Dwayne Wade was, when Dwayne Wade was really that nigga, y'all didn't want to give him the credit. But now that nigga's retired with a little transvestite son, he's the greatest thing since fucking Frank Sinatra. That's what the fuck I don't get. That's what I don't get. Dwayne Wade really was that nigga on the court. But he never got the credit he deserved at that. You know, he was never the Miami Heat's highest paid player at any point in his career. I started believing Dwayne Wade in 2006 when they beat the Mavericks in the finals. Dwayne Wade took that shit over. Dallas, I mean, the Dallas Mavericks were the best team in the NBA that year, had the best roster. Dirk was in his prime. Then this is back when Dirk used to still hit three-pointers. And this nigga Dwayne Wade was only in his second year in the NBA, third year. And this motherfucker took over. Dwayne Wade is that nigga on the court. But he never got the credit until he got off the court and got this little, how you gonna have a little boy in a dress with a size 13 heel? You think I ain't gonna laugh at that? Better get the fuck out of my face. You telling me not to misgender, not to laugh. The boy got on size 13 stilettos. Them hoes look like water slides. The fuck I'm not gonna laugh? You kiss my ass. I'm laughing my ass off. Yo, ho, nigga, why this nigga's feet looking like the water park with them heels on? I'm laughing at that shit. That's funny to me. You over here in a dress, and I'm not supposed to laugh at that? Better kiss my ass, nigga. Somebody said, I bet Dwayne. Why would you bet on somebody else's investment portfolio? Why would you do that? You don't know. That's another thing we got to get away from. We got to get out of people's pockets. I know a lot of people, man, whether it be sports or entertainment, ain't none of this shit what it seems. None of it. Because it's not about what the outcasts say. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you spend. It be people out here that we see making bread. They ain't got shit but liabilities. It's other people we see out here that's like regular, and these motherfuckers is doing it. Stay out of people's pockets. We don't know what his investment portfolio is. Hell, these Jewish motherfuckers be going through these NBA. They be raiding these NBA niggas' pockets. Shit, that happened to Kareem. That's how my Lakers got 2 more championships. Kareem was supposed to retire after the 19. People don't know, Kareem was supposed to retire after the 85 finals. His tax accountant took all his bread, and he had to play 3 more years. And I think that's kind of why Kareem is cooning right now. Kareem need that bread. So he like, man, look, I know I've been fucking with you niggas my whole life, but I need some money now, so pull your pants up. That's what Kareem going through right now. That nigga need that money. Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was once the highest paid player in NBA history. Kevin Garnett broke as fuck because his tax accountant was stealing all his money and he didn't know it. Kevin Garnett lost I think he said he got $72 million stolen from him. Man, y'all niggas just better watch basketball and get back to your life. It's not about them being dumb. The NBA niggas got predators around them. It's not about being stupid. They playing basketball all day. You niggas don't understand how much work it takes to be a great basketball player. You dedicate 8, 10, 12 hours a day to the game if you're someone as good as Dwayne Wade. That man dedicated 8, 12 hours a day to the game. You have people that you hire that you think trust you. You be having family members that got access to your accounts, and these motherfuckers is bleeding you dry. The NBA niggas are surrounded by vultures. I've seen it. Look, I had a few homeboys I was hella cool with in the NBA. We went everywhere. Nigga, do you know how much my phone used to ring? My phone don't ring like that no more. But when I would hang around NBA niggas and people knew I would be around them, man, 1 o'clock, I'm getting a call from this investment realtor that got a deal for the cat that I know. 2 o'clock, I got a call from this dude that owns a limo service, and he wants to take us to such and such place. 3 o'clock, I'm getting a call, and I'm just a homeboy. And I'm getting calls all day about people trying to get in this nigga's pockets. Y'all don't know what these NBA niggas go through. These mother NBA players are prey. I'm telling y'all, NBA players are prey. They're goldfish in a tank full of Oscars. You know, if you have a fish tank, you know what I'm talking about. These motherfuckers is goldfish and feeder fish in a tank full of Oscars. So they can have the best of intentions. These niggas in the NBA be getting fucked over. It's a whole game behind the scenes that y'all don't know. That's why I always say, you know what, instead of me always having to explain it and break it down, just watch basketball and get back to your life. Yeah, he did have a male nanny. You're right, Pete Rothstein. You don't know the people survive it. But think about it. These niggas find out they've been getting stolen from when their prime of their career is over with. If you're an NBA dude, you got a very short window to make money in your life. You got between the age of 20 and 30 to get big contracts. 28 to get big contracts. 30 if you're really good. LeBron's the exception getting that big contract that late. That's the exception. For everyone else, for 95% of the players who ever played in the NBA, you got between the ages of 20 and 30 to get big contracts. They're 28. If you find out the motherfucker stealing from you when you 30, well, you've already passed the big dollars. If you probably won't get signed again because they're going to be looking for somebody way younger and cheaper than you. But if you get signed again, it's going to be for half or a third of your previous contract. So now you 30, 32 years old. If you're lucky enough to have found out at that time, now you're going to try to hold on as long as you can to make that bread. But those big numbers, you're not ever going to make that money again. Nigga, these niggas is around vultures. Yeah. That's real talk, KG. You write deep impressions. You can't roast these dudes. You don't know what they going through. These motherfuckers be having family members that run game on them. Run that, because that term, I know that show is stupid. To me it is. But the term survivor's remorse is real. People who survive traumatic situations, they oftentimes have a remorse or a guilt about being a survivor. And the way they deal with that guilt is to pay they nothing sorry ass degenerate homeboys money. It's like they're guilty for making it and their boys didn't. So they be spending all kind of money on dumb shit with their friends, paying their uncle's bills. Your uncle ain't never been shit. He a grown ass man, he should be paying his own bills. But since you have survivor's remorse, you paying your uncle's rent, you paying your sister, you bought your sister that car. And let me tell you something about NBA niggas. They don't get a lump sum of money. They get paid on the 1st and the 15th, starting in September. So you see $20 million contract. Well, really what that is, that's broken down over 4 years. Okay, that's $5 million a year. At about $5 million a year, you're looking at your checks are about $400,000 after taxes. Your checks are about $250,000, $280,000 a month. That's about $130,000 every 2 weeks. So you making the money, but you got your own lifestyle that you live. I remember every times I would go like the way they spend money, you're going to spend money like your environment does. I remember with the Clippers, we used to go out sometimes. I mean, one night we went out. I was with the Clippers. CP was there, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, all of them was there. And I didn't see the bill, but I counted the bill. We had like 5 magnums of Patron, like 3 magnums of Goose, and it was like 4 bottles of Ace of Spades. At the time, Ace of Spades in a club is running you about $4,500 a bottle. The magnums of Patron, those were running about, I think those were running like at $1,900 a bottle, and the Goose was like $1,800 a bottle for the magnums. So, and it was like some other shit that we had. Put it like this. Whatever it was, I remember adding it up in my mind at the time. And I was like, these niggas just paid $89,000 tonight. God damn. Nigga, that bill was $89,000 that night. There was this other time I went out and we were at Garden of Eden in Hollywood. And it was another NBA player. I'm not going to mention this dude's name. But Garden of Eden, Ace of Spades at Garden, the Ace of Spades went around. That's when they got bottles of Cristal. They had about 8 bottles of Cristal. And at the time, Cristal was like $9,000 a bottle at the Garden of Eden. And it was like 2 tables full of bottles. I saw that bill. That bill was $230,000 that night. Plus tip. It be shit like that going on. And then they'll be like, "Oh, you rookie." Then they'll tell the rookie, either you got to buy it or you got to split it with somebody. So you had this money that you had set to the side for something else. But how they do rookie hazing is they'll run up a tab for $60,000, $70,000 and tell the rookie to pay it. Mind you, the rookie is on a rookie deal. His paycheck probably about $80,000 every 2 weeks. It be shit like that going on. Yeah. Yeah, man. It be a whole game going on. Yeah, right. They get the money right back. They do. But there's a whole psychology behind that. They know going back to what you asked about Stephen A. Smith, Kyrie Irving has a strong father. Do you guys remember when that game when Kyrie came back, played his first home game back with the Nets, and Kyrie went to go hug his dad after the game? Stephen A. Smith was like, "Hi, who the Kyrie think he is, hugging his dad?" I was like, how can you get mad at somebody for hugging their father? They have issues, especially when black men and when the fathers are around. They don't like that. Because a lot of these players, their mothers ain't around, so the only men they trust is their white coaches, and those same white coaches introduce them to their white agent, who's going to introduce them to their white financial advisors. So they're getting direction on how to be men from white men, and they're getting financial advice from white men that want to take their money. What do you think that's going to do? How do you think that worked? I remember this is one player I knew. He told me how much he This one nigga, he told me how much he pays his financial advisor. I was like, what? Like, just to pay bills? Like, this is one dude. And it wasn't just him, because it was like at least 20 different players that went to the same accountant. Because the agents, introduced them to these people. So I know of at least 20 players that were at this particular agency. This particular accounting firm. This accounting firm they were on Wilshire. Mind you, Wilshire, when it comes to office space, an office space with like, say, 8 offices on Wilshire. We're talking in Westwood, right by UCLA, Wilshire, and like that area. To get one office with, say, maybe 8 offices in it, that's gonna run you about $100,000 a month to be on Wilshire. $130,000 a month for just an office with about 8 offices in it. This particular accounting firm had a whole half of a floor. So to get a half of a floor on Wilshire and Westwood, not that actual intersection, but in that area, it's a whole bunch of hiring. That lease had to be no less than $5 million a month. No less. No less than $5 million a month. To own a floor on Wilshire? Why am I saying this? Guess how much this motherfucker told me they pay for taxes and financial services? $9,000 a month. $9,000 a month. Now, don't get me wrong, you gotta have a good accountant, because in the NBA, every city you play in, you get their taxes. So if you play a game against the Knicks, you get the New York City tax, New York State tax, along with the federal tax. If you play in Texas, you're not going to get any income tax, so that check's going to be bigger. So you got to have a real accountant. You can't be cheap on that. But $9,000 a month, nigga? And it was like at least 20 players that I heard of that had an account with that particular accounting firm. So that's why I always go back to saying, like, I don't speak the way I speak just because I'm trying to sound like a wise nigga. I'm the kind of motherfucker that learn from my mistakes. That's all the fuck I am. I'm an observant person. I observe life, and I'm 40 now. I didn't talk like this when I was 30. I had wisdom when I was 30, but I didn't have the experience. I had wisdom when I was 20, but I had the experience. Now that I'm 40, it's like something happened. Something clicked in my mind when I got around 39 and going into 40. I've had enough revolutions around this sun to see a pattern. And I speak from the point of view of someone who's observed the pattern. So I say things that can oftentimes disrupt people and make people think that I'm being arrogant or being an asshole, or maybe a lot of times people say Dwann thinks he knows it all. No, I don't think I know it all. I just know what I know. I don't know it all, but if I choose to speak on a particular anything, it's because I have information to back what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So that's why my advice to people is to just, if you're going to watch sports, watch the game, enjoy yourself, and then go back to building yourself to be a better man, to be a better woman. Because relationships, good parents, good households, we need strong individuals. We'll never become strong individuals if we spend all of our time focused on other people's lives. And I used to be that person. I told you niggas, I used to watch SportsCenter all fucking day. That was when I turned my computer on. It opened up to ESPN.com. I had to, nigga. I mean, I used to be that. I used to be that all the way into sports dude. Well, maybe not be that way was experience. I'm gonna tell y'all another quick story. I told this story before on this channel, but I'm gonna tell y'all another quick story, and then I appreciate that, Bruce. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna get to y'all questions, but I'm gonna tell this quick story. Then I want y'all to ask me some questions. So think of some questions, and then ask me when I'm done with this quick little story. It was this one time I was at Staples Center. It was the Clippers versus the Boston Celtics. It was one of those big time games. Like ESPN was there. I think it was like a Sunday afternoon game. So I'm in the back in the friends and family room. I'm like that game. I remember all the Kardashians. This is when Lamar Odom was married to Khloe Kardashian. That game, all the Kardashians were there. Kim, Kanye was there in the back. I mean, it was a lot. I can't even name all the celebrities that was there, but I do remember meeting Kanye West that night. And matter of fact, Khloe introduced me to Kanye because me and Khloe was cool. So I'm walking out the tunnel to go into the game, and I see Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is standing right next to me. Kevin Garnett comes up to say what's up to somebody who was standing next to me. I don't know Kevin Garnett. It was somebody standing next to me who knew Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett comes up to him to say what's up. This is about 30 minutes before the game started. Stephen A. Smith walks over to Kevin Garnett and was like, yo, KG, my man, what's up? KG looked back at Stephen A. Smith and said, fuck you, nigga. You know I don't fuck with you. I'm sitting there seeing this whole thing like, damn. This nigga KG just told Stephen A. Smith, you know I don't fuck with you. Okay, cool. The next morning, I turned on First Take like I always did back in the day. I had to watch First Take every day. I turned on First Take, and on First Take, Stephen A. Smith was like, yeah, you know, I was at the Clipper game, you know, last night at the Clipper game, you know, I saw my man KG in the tunnel, and we had a talk, and he was saying, you know, the Celtics are focused, man. They ready to go back to the championship. Man, me and KG talked, and I was like, yo, I was in the tunnel when y'all walked across each other. I saw this nigga say he don't fuck with you. But the next morning, on First Take, he tells this whole story about this conversation he had with KG, and that shit never happened. I was right there. And that's when I was like, you know what? This shit is fake. And mind you, at that same time, one of my homeboys went to ESPN broadcasting school because he wanted to become an announcer. And he was like, it's a 6-week school that ESPN does at Syracuse University. And if you want to work at ESPN, you got to go to the school. It's at Syracuse University. It's a 6-week long course. They offer it during the month of July in the middle of the off season. He told me back then, he was like, man, they basically told me, if you want to work at ESPN, you got to basically pledge allegiance to Michael Jordan and LeBron James. You got to basically say that they're the greatest thing to ever walk the planet. And at the same time, you can't really acknowledge other players. And you can't talk bad about LeBron, and you can't talk bad about Michael Jordan. And they make that very clear. So all of this happened within 5 months of itself. So I was like to say, you know what? This shit is for real charade. And that's when I stopped watching. So now I am 10 years clean from ESPN. I've been a faithful ESPN viewer from 1990 When I first got cable, I was a faithful ESPN viewer from 1990 to 2012. 2012, I was done with that shit. I'm like, this shit is a charade. That's why I say, black men, divorce yourself from ESPN. We got bigger fish to fry. We as black men got better things to do than watch ESPN after the game goes off. Watch the game, have some fun watching the game, but hearing these dickheads talk about the game over and over and over again, we've had enough of that shit as black men. We gotta rid that shit out of our system. Black men gotta rid ESPN and Fox Sports and all of these male gossip sports shows. We gotta rid that shit out of our system and replace it with something constructive. We all got dreams. Whatever the fuck your dream is in life to do, you got time to accomplish that dream if you replace motherfucking ESPN with strives towards whatever goal that is you set for yourself. That's how we fix it. Whatever goal you set for yourself, you can get to that goal in 2-3 hours a day. You watching ESPN 2-3 hours a day, that means you got fucking time to achieve whatever the fuck goal you have in your mind. That's how we can fix this shit as black men. Replacing ESPN with accomplishing shit. I just wrote a book in 3 weeks. You think I'd have been able to write a book in 3 weeks if I was watching Sports Center, nigga? I watched the basketball games, and then when the game was over, back to writing my fucking book. I would not have written a book in 3 weeks if I was watching ESPN all fucking day, black men. That was a funny one, Evan. You're right, natural immunity. Once Disney bought them out, that was it. Yeah, so man, get ESPN the fuck out your system and use that time to meet whatever the fuck goals you have planned for yourself. Again, I would not have written a book in 3 weeks if I was watching ESPN every day. Now I'll take some of y'all questions as I light this joint. Yeah. What's up, Mama Z? I ain't seen you in a minute. What's up? She said your dream is 40 acres and a mule, or maybe 100 mules. Again, I don't say fuck ESPN as some holier than thou nigga. I say that as a nigga that was addicted to ESPN. But once I saw ESPN work behind the scenes, I said, you know what? Maybe ESPN ain't the problem. Maybe the problem is me for giving them attention. I was like, if I don't give ESPN attention, that means ESPN isn't a problem. So by the time, yeah, the NBA players be having to sign non-disclosures about certain things. Well, I tell you that. They have non-disclosures on one level, but really what it is, it's more unwritten rule that NBA players follow. NBA players have to talk to media. It's in their contract. They have to talk to the media. NBA players have publicists that tell them exactly what to say to the media. And they have a fear of going outside that boundary because the NBA has very protocol like the NBA. The NBA wants you to be obedient. The NBA cares more about obedience than they do skill. They'll take a less skilled player if he's obedient. So when you're not obedient in the NBA, that plays a lot into how much teams are willing to offer you in your contract. That plays a lot into your minutes played. So if you're going to be in the NBA, you better be a good boy and fall in line. So most of this stuff that players don't say, it's not because they have a non-disclosure saying you can't say it. Them niggas know if they do say it, masks are going to get mad, so they don't say it. Now I'll tell you what NBA does have, and it's not the NBA. NBA has a personality clause, just like the sponsors do. Like you represent the NBA, and if you do things that are like break laws and stuff like that, you run afoul of the NBA's sponsorship clause. And so they have stuff like that. But no, really most of the reason why you have athletes saying the same thing over and over again and not really opening up is because they know their situation with the NBA is dependent upon them being good little boys. You're right, natural immunity, compliance, and subordination. That's it. Yeah, appreciate the join on Patreon, the 28, the masterclass level. The masterclass level, I am going to be teaching a full course on my book, how to communicate. I don't know the name of the book yet, but the book is basically based around communicating with love. Being able to communicate to your family, your spouse, in a loving manner, the way they can understand what you're saying and you can still get what you need done. Because all the time we talk about, we need the black family, we need the black family, we need the black family. But you're not going to have a good, constructive black family if everybody's cussing each other out. You're about to have a divorced black family if motherfuckers don't know how to talk to each other. So my book is written around that for people who want to talk to the people that they love in a more loving, constructive manner. That's what my book is about. And the Patreon, I'll be teaching a masterclass on that book, going into greater detail. Dr. Short is good. He's a lot better. I got to call him back. We played phone tag the other day. Dr. Short had he had a surgery. Yeah, he had heart surgery. So I want y'all to please send cash apps to Dr. Short. $ Dr. Randy Short. If y'all got his cash app, send Dr. Short. Appreciate that deep impression. Deep impressions. If you got Dr. Randy Short's cash app, put that in there. Yeah, Dr. Short had to have surgery, but we talked on the phone last week. He sounded much better. So we're gonna link up. I might do a show with Dr. Short on Monday. I'm gonna see if he's available Monday. If he's available Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna do one with Dr. Short. I'm gonna do one with Dr. Short if he's available on Monday. That's a good Rob Trimble. I'm gonna screenshot that. That's a good one. Now the Euro step is not. First of all, it's not a Euro step. Shamgar was doing that shit before it became something from Europe. God Shamgar. And the greatest ever at it was Ginobili, and he wasn't European. He was technically European, but he was from Argentina. But the Euro step is not a travel. We gotta stop saying it. If it was a travel, they would call it travel. The rule book has always stated you get 2.5 dribbles. 2.5 steps, I mean. You get 2.5 steps. The half step is the gather step. Meaning, if you bounce the ball, then take a step right, like a split second after you bounce the ball, you now have a full step to yourself, because that's considered a half step. You can make a big step with that. That's the half step. And you still have 2 more steps after that. The thing is, NBA players have gotten so good, they've taken advantage of the rule of 2.5 steps. And the best Euro steppers aren't Europeans. Dwayne Wade and James Harden are the 2 greatest. When it comes to the Euro step, the 2 greatest to ever Euro step was James Harden and Dwayne Wade. So it's not giving you anyone an advantage. The Euro step is a very skillful move because it requires great timing on the dribble because you get 2.5 dribbles. If I bounce it, if I put my foot down and bounce it as I'm taking a leap to one side, that's my half step. I land 1. Go back the other way, 2. Layup. That's good basketball. Yeah, the NBA had to apologize. The NBA is kissing China's ass. Because China's the biggest NBA market. Y'all know that, right? China's a much bigger market for the NBA than America. China has, they said, 290 million people. Basically, 300 million people in China watch basketball. China has over 1 billion people. They said they got about 300 million Chinese people who watch basketball regularly. That's the population of the United States, damn near. 300 million people don't watch basketball in the United States. About 100 million do or less. 300 million watch basketball in China. That's the biggest market for the NBA. So the NBA is always going to kiss China's ass. You dig what I'm saying? Somebody said, do I regret not mastering my body so I can be a better basketball player? What do you mean not mastering? I am a master. I don't look like what you perceive a master looks. That doesn't mean I'm not a master. It was a lot of skinny philosophers at the time of Buddha. But people remember Buddha, not them skinny niggas that was his competition. You dig? I be thinking about that shit sometimes because people will ask that question. People automatically think just because you a fat nigga, you struggling with your weight. A struggle would imply that I'm trying. And it would also mean I actually care to look like the rest of you motherfuckers. As long as I have good energy and my blood pressure's good, I'm gonna keep weight on me, nigga. I like it. Now my blood pressure was out of control and I had no energy and I couldn't get nothing done because I was always too tired. Then yeah, nigga, it's time to lose some weight. But as long as my vitals are good, my heart rate is fine, I don't give a fuck, nigga. I don't go around telling niggas they should read 25 books in a month so they can strengthen their mind like I do. I'll never be here and be like, man, I read 25 books in the month of January to get a little sharper in a certain field of study. You should do that too. No, nigga, I do me, you do you. It's that simple. How do I know so many NBA players? I'm from LA. It's a lot of NBA players in that. Like, look at how many NBA players come from LA. I'm an LA nigga that hooped a lot in my teens and 20s. And I was kind of known around LA as the fat nigga that could hoop. I liked it. I liked being a fat nigga that could hoop. I embraced that shit. Because every time I walked on the court, people would look at my size and think, oh, this is. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't as jiggly as I am now. When I hooped a lot, I was a little more solid than I am now. I had 2 knee surgeries, so I'm done. But I'm from LA. Knowing the NBA, being from LA and knowing an NBA player is like going to church on Sunday. If you play basketball and you're from LA, you don't know one NBA player, you probably know 10. So that's probably how it happened. That, and also, when I was younger, I was always in the right club on the right night. I always had access to the best clubs in Hollywood. So back in my 20s, I spent a lot of time, I'm talking 6 nights a week, in nightclubs in Hollywood. I knew everybody, damn body. The fuck? Got some motherfuckers rolling through here on bikes. You gotta watch these motherfuckers on bikes because what a game that they got out here in LA, they get people on bikes with a backpack or a duffel bag, and they go and roll up on the cars and cut their catalytic converters out. That's a thing going on. That's been going on here in LA for a while. I'm sure it's going on wherever you are too. But anytime I'm outside and I see motherfuckers on bikes and they got bags, them be the ones coming up cutting out catalytic converters. I parked my car in the garage, so I ain't tripping, but I ain't trying to have none of my tenants come up short. They get their catalytic converter cut out, then they coming to me talking about so they're gonna be late on the rent. Fuck that. I'll protect your shit. Just make sure your rent's on time, motherfucker. Yeah, it would be cool if Craig Fast came to Cleveland. Oh, you said you grew up in Philly seeing Dr. J and Moses Malone? Yeah. I remember as a kid, like when after I had my first knee surgery was a football injury. But my first knee surgery was at the Spectrum Club. Spectrum Club, LA Sports Club, that's where all your celebrities and athletes go to work out. So it'd be nothing to be playing a basketball game. And this is back when Terrell Owens was on the 49ers. Like, it'd be a game, Terrell Owens would be in a game. This is back in the late 90s. This was 99 when I had my knee surgery. Right when I graduated high school. And Magic. I hooped with Magic one time in my life. It was the worst/greatest experience ever. Like, I was doing my rehab at the Spectrum Club, and they finally cleared me to play basketball. It took like 6 months of rehab before they cleared me to play. No, 3 months, because I had the surgery in July. They cleared me to play basketball in like December. Nigga, I hooped one game. It was kind of cool. Nigga, but I could only play basketball twice a week. And I couldn't play 2 days in a row when I was doing rehab. My second day hooping in rehab, guess who walked on the court? Magic Johnson. And I had been seeing Magic was a regular there. I used to see him because I used to be on the doing my rehab on the elliptical bike. The elliptical bikes is right by the gym. So I saw Magic playing there a few times when I was doing my workout. But man, this motherfucker stepped on the court when I was on the court. I was like, and when we was picking teams, Magic selected me. Yeah, you. Let's go. Cool. Magic was doing his thing. Mind you, Magic, his initial retirement was in 91. But he came back for a half a season in 1995. So in 1999, he's only 4 years removed from the second time he came back from basketball. So Magic can still hoop. He can't NBA hoop, but he can still hoop. Nigga, Magic was on my squad, and he was doing this thing most of the game. It was just one play. Nigga, I'm in a corner, and I could shoot. Nigga, my game, part of my game is I'm a lethal shooter. Well, not now. I can't play basketball no more. I fucking suck in basketball now. But back when I hooped, I could shoot. Nigga, I'm in the corner, Magic dribbling. He coming down the middle. He looked to the left, tossed that hoe to the right to me. One of the best passes I've ever received in my life. He threw that motherfucker chest high. You know how it is when you shoot. You feel the pass coming. You got your feet straight. Your knees are bent. Hands in a ready position. This motherfucker threw a no look right to my hands in a ready position. I didn't even have to move them hoes to catch it. Nigga, I go up. I line that hoe up. That motherfucker was straight as an arrow, but a foot short. I airballed that motherfucker. Nigga, I got a pass from Magic. I didn't have no legs to shoot that shot. Nigga, I was happy. Magic, my all-time favorite basketball player. Magic, the reason why look, I'm an LA nigga that grew up on the Lakers, and I caught a pass from Magic Johnson. You think I was gonna make that motherfucker? Do you really think I was gonna make that shot? No. What's up, Great Black Shark? You're right. We figured Magic would have died by HIV by then. I was happy to see Magic alive, nigga. We thought Magic was gonna be dead here in LA. So to see Magic Johnson alive, I'll tell you when that game was, because y'all know I got a good memory. Look up the date Walter Payton died. That date. That's what that game was when I played with Magic. Whatever date that was, Walter Payton died. Because we was in the gym before that. I was on the elliptical doing my rehab for my knee surgery, and we saw on the screens Walter Payton had just died. Look up whatever day that was. I remember seeing that shit. And then going into the gym and Magic walking in. Whatever day that was, Walter Payton died. That was it was like a November or a December or something like in 99. November, remember I told you November? Yep, November 1st, yep. That's when it was. That was the day. Because I remember seeing Walter Payton had died. And I hooped with Magic Johnson that day. And I airballed that. And it wasn't even one. See, some airballs, you hit the other side of the net. No. This airball didn't hit the net. This airball was reaching for the net and came up 6 inches short. Nigga. But Magic threw me a no-look pass. That was perfect. I'll never forget how it felt to catch it. It was the cleanest, because it's like, y'all know how it is if you know hoop. The hands in the triangle in the ready position right there. You got both of them up, and you put them right there under your chin. That way you can just go right up and let it go. You just, wow. Nigga, that shit was straight as an arrow. Airball. Nigga. But like, that's kind of like, depending on the circles you in, like here in LA, that's some regular shit. You know? especially if you around the right circles. I would have hooped the Magic a lot more if I wasn't in knee rehab. Hell no, Magic didn't give me the ball after the air ball. That was my first and last shot. Nigga, no. No. That was the first and last time Magic passed me the ball. That was it. No, I did not get another shot. I was open a few more times, but no. Actually, no, I wasn't open because everybody at that gym knew I could shoot. So it wasn't rare that I would be like at the Spectrum Club, we used to like really hoop. So I wouldn't get open often because niggas at the gym knew I could shoot. But nigga, Magic was like, you trash, nigga. You know, that ain't what he said. But that's what his body language told me when he didn't give me no more passes. Yeah. And Magic was like, nigga, you trash. Get this fat ass off the court. And I couldn't even be mad at Magic. You right. I feel bad. Like, who am I to fuck off a Magic Johnson assist? I felt small. Like, Dwan, you tripping on life. If Terry Tingle could make the shot to make him the all-time assist leader, the least I could do is give Magic his fourth assist in a Spectrum Club pickup game. That's the least. If I made that shot, I could have gave Magic his fourth assist for the game. But I airballed that motherfucker. Do you know what it feels like to be the person that fucked off a Magic Johnson assist? Magic Johnson is the greatest assist maker ever. If you don't get an assist on a Magic Johnson pass, that means you trash. So part of me feels like trash. I screwed off a Magic Johnson assist. I'm not good enough to do that. Like, I could hoop, yeah, but I'm not good enough to screw off a Magic Johnson assist. The least I could do is give Magic an assist. Nigga, or I could have at least hit the rim. And if I hit the rim, Magic could have got the rebound, and then maybe he could pass it back out to me or somebody else to get the assist. But no, I airballed that motherfucker. So I didn't give Magic Johnson a chance to get a Spectrum Club assist. I feel like a turd. When I saw MJ Clown Camillionaire, I think everybody, y'all heard that story about Michael Jordan clowning the Camillionaire. Press 1 if y'all heard that story. I ain't gonna say it again, but if you did, if you want me to say that story, press 1 if you want me to tell that story. I think y'all heard that story. Press 1 if you want me to tell that Michael Jordan the Camillionaire story. You said that Kobe take LA or Magic? No, Magic still got it. Kobe took LA on the court. You didn't see Kobe in public. Magic took LA on the court, and he was a regular part of the community. You saw Magic regularly. Kobe, as much as I party, I never saw Kobe in LA. The first time I saw Kobe out was at All-Star game in New Orleans. I saw him at the Players Union party. Frankie Beverly and Mays opened up, and Snoop closed it. And Kobe came to the Players Union party for about 20 minutes, and he left. And that's also when I met Yao Ming tall ass. I saw Yao Ming and Shaq standing next to each other like, God damn. It felt like standing in between two subways. Okay, y'all want to hear the story? All right. If y'all go and look up on YouTube, it's a story with Camillionaire. Camillionaire is talking about Michael Jordan turning him down for signing a jersey. Well, I was there when it happened. I was about 10 feet from it. This is the same All-Star weekend in New Orleans. I think this is either 2008 or 2000. I think it's 2008. Look it up. Y'all can look it up. What was the first year All-Star game hit New Orleans? It was either 2000, I think it's 2008. Because '07 we was in Vegas for All-Star Weekend. And '09 we was in, I think, Phoenix for All-Star Weekend. But '08 we were in New Orleans for All-Star Weekend. So I'm at the Michael Jordan party. The Michael Jordan party, I'm at the bar. And about 10 feet from me is Michael Jordan. Yes, 2008, because this is the year the Celtics won the finals. This is the year the Celtics beat the finals in 6 games. Because I remember looking at them thinking these niggas probably going to win a championship. It was Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. They all sitting in a circle talking to Michael Jordan. And I'm sitting, I'm a Laker fan. And I'm looking like, man, fuck this super team. And these niggas is talking to Michael Jordan? These niggas is about to win it all. Man, fuck the Celtics. They're about to win a championship. I'm kind of sitting there like kind of salty. These niggas is that good. And it's open bar. So I'm like I'm easily on my like 10th glass of Hennessy. And Camillionaire walks up. Mind you, I saw Camillionaire about way earlier that day. There was a pool tournament. And at that pool tournament, there was an auction. And at the auction, like Terrell Owens had bought like a whole bunch of some shit. And I saw Camillionaire win the auction bid to buy Michael Jordan's signed jersey. So I was there earlier. I saw him earlier that day. I was there to see him win the auction for that signed Michael Jordan jersey. Mind you, I barely know who this nigga is. Because y'all know me. 2007, nigga, I was listening. I was listening to goddamn Erykah Badu, nigga. I don't listen to, and Nas I was into hip hop is dead at that time. I wasn't fucking with no Camillionaire, nigga. I was listening to more Earth, Wind & Fire than anything goddamn thing else in 2007. I was Parliament Funkadelic, who I listened to more than anything else. So I don't give a fuck about no Camillionaire. So Camillionaire walk up to Michael Jordan, and he like, hey, I just got your jersey, man. And it would be, I don't know if you can sign it. And Michael Jordan looks back at Paul Pierce and is like, man, who is this nigga? Nigga, I damn near spit my drink out. And Camillionaire had this dejected look on his face like he just saw a ghost. That nigga's eyes dropped, his mouth dropped, and he's looking like, and then Michael Jordan was like, get this nigga away from me. And Paul Pierce like, no. That's Camillionaire. That's Camillionaire. Michael Jordan was like, I don't give a fuck who this nigga is. Get him away from me. Nigga, I remember coming home and telling people that story. And people know I don't lie, so they believed me because they know I wouldn't make no shit like that up. But you know how there's some people believe you, but they kind of like, yeah, you probably putting extras on it. And then like later on that year, Camillionaire released that YouTube video, that interview he did, where he talked about the whole incident. And I didn't know he did that interview. I got like 15 text messages from people I told that story to, and they was all like, hey, you see that Camillionaire interview? I'm like, I don't give a fuck about no goddamn Camillionaire. And they're like, no, remember that story we told you? Yeah, nigga, you wasn't bullshitting. I'm like, no, nigga, I wasn't. I may have, if I have an old, I gotta go through my archives. I may have an old episode of Sports and Things. I used to do Sports and Things when I first started YouTube. I didn't stick with it, but I would do it sometimes and I wouldn't do it. But I did an episode of Sports and Things, and I told that story on that show. And this was before Camillionaire even came out with that interview. If I can find it, I'm going to post it. I'm going to see if I can find that old story I did on Blog Talk Radio in like 2009, 2010. I told that story on Blog Talk Radio. Problem is I deleted a lot of those shows because I was so mad at how it ended. My dumb ass deleted a bunch of those shows. But I did save some. If I can find them, I'm gonna post it. This nigga, man, Michael Jordan was like, get this nigga out my face. I don't give a fuck about no Camillionaire. Nigga, I was at the bar killing. And that was one of the times I was at the bar by myself. Because one of my homeboys, he got some work. I'm like, go right ahead, bruh. And the other people I was with, they was still at the Don Julio party. But I wanted to get to the Michael Jordan party. So I went over there by myself. Nigga. And that's when I realized that was the same night I knew Gabrielle Union was a hoe. I've never told this story. I don't think I've ever told you guys this story. But that same night, we're leaving the Michael, because like a little after that, the people I was with came. They didn't get to see that part because I was there by myself when that happened. They got there about 20, 30 minutes after that incident. So when we leaving the Michael Jordan party that night, one of the dudes I'm with, I'm not going to say his name because he's married. He's a married dude. But this dude is an agent. He's an NBA agent. We walking out the party, and Gabrielle Union is she's with us. This is before she got with Dwayne Wade. She was kind of kicking it with us, but I don't ever say me. She said nothing, but we said hi to each other. But she was really on him, and one of the players we was with. So when we leave the party, she goes right to him. She's like, "So yeah, well, you know what? So what are you doing after we leave?" He was like, "Man, I'm going to the room." And she was like, "Shall I come with?" She was like, so basically, I forgot her exact words, but she was basically like, "So I'm coming with you." And he was like, and he had just gotten married. He had just had a baby. So he was being faithful, like straight up. He was like, "Nah, I can't do it." But I'm sitting there like, yo, she really just asked this nigga to go to his room in front of all of us. I was like, because I want to tell you something. And this is Gabrielle Union in person. You say what you want about her, and I don't agree with her politics, none of that shit. But Gabrielle Union fine the motherfucker, especially in person. She has the prettiest skin I've ever seen in my life. I don't even look at women's skin. I'm looking at titties and ass when I look at women. But her skin was so goddamn clear, it's like you had to notice. Like the first time in my life I've ever noticed clear skin on a woman, it was the night I met Gabrielle Union. It was just something radiant about her skin. I was like, this goddamn woman is beautiful. And she has a cool vibe. Like, her vibe was hella cool. Again, I didn't really interact with her like that, but she was interacting with my people, and she had a good vibe about her. But when she came out and she was that direct with that nigga, I was like, God damn, Gabrielle Union's a tramp. Yeah, I got all kinds of stories. I be forgetting how many stories I have. I be sitting back. Because like I've always been a very high energy person. Like now that I'm married, I don't go out like I used to. But when I was in my 20s, I only slept 4 hours a night. I used to party till 3 in the morning, be up at 7 because my first class at Cal State Northridge was 8 o'clock. And Cal State Northridge, the time I lived in View Park, so I had to leave by 7 because if I left at 7:30, traffic was gonna be a bitch. So I'd always have to leave for school about 6:55. That way I could beat traffic and be at Cal State Northridge by 7:30 to be in class by 8. But I partied until 2 or 3 in the morning every night. That's just how I lived my life up until I was 34. 40, I'm turning 41 in June. But up until I was 34, that's how I lived my life. Nigga, I could go to Magic Mountain all day and then still like leave Magic Mountain at 12 p.m. I'm gonna come right through. It's gonna take me about 40 minutes to get to Hollywood. Go right down to Sunset and Gower, Sunset and Vine, Hollywood and Las Palmas. Go to Bass, go to Element, and just go to the club for about an hour. That's just how I lived my life for a long time. Yeah, I should do TikTok. Are you on Sauce and Alviso? My homeboy on Sauce and Alviso right now. Yeah, I lived in View Park for a while. Yeah, we should do a father and son episode again. We gonna do it. We got so much shit we doing. But yeah, I be forgetting how many stories I got. Actually, but I tell you the truth, most stories I don't tell. Like the story I tell, these stories I tell are safe. They don't really implicate anybody. Like I didn't tell I didn't tell the Gabrielle Union story forever. But with all this shit going on with that little man boy child that she raising, we all see that she's a fucking freak now. So telling that story now won't out her in any kind of way. We see how she move. But I didn't tell that Gabrielle Union story in public for years. I don't, most stories I'll never tell. I'm never going to incriminate nobody. I'm never going to do anything that's going to slander anyone's character in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to say things that's going to make people look like they're less than or dehumanize them in any kind of way. Like I don't like putting that energy out there in life. I just don't like that. But I could tell the Gabrielle Union story now because one, she's married, you know what I mean? That was back in she wasn't married then, she was single. So she had the right to be a flirt. But we see how she is, we see how Gabrielle Union moves. So we all know that she's a freak. We all see that shit now. I don't give a fuck what none of you misgendering motherfuckers got to say about me talking like this. We all see Gabrielle Union's fucking crazy. She's a sexual deviant. We see this. This isn't a rumor. This is how she behaves. So telling a story like that is lightweight these days. But I didn't tell them stories before we found out that she was a fucking sexual deviant. I never told that story in public. He's like, I sound older than you. Yeah, she a super freak. I done seen all kind of shit. I was there when Suge Knight got knocked out one time in All-Star Weekend. Ah, man. Oh, shit. I have more stories I forgot about than I remember. Because it just be one of the things. I've always been a very nice person, so one thing I will say, because people be having I said it before, people had to say what they had to say about things, but I say this all the time, Hollywood has been good to me. Not Hollywood, the music, the entertainment industry. Fuck the entertainment industry. I'm talking about like the Hollywood, the party scene. The Hollywood party scene in my party days was good to me. I didn't ever pay for shit. I knew the right promoters to where I could, if I needed a table to sit at, and I was cool with the bartenders. And this back when I was, man, shit, when I was in Hollywood a lot, I was way bigger than I am now, nigga. I was like 400 plus. This is right after I tore my knee and I couldn't hoop anymore. When I hooped a lot, I was like 330, 340. When I tore my knee and couldn't hoop anymore, I ballooned up to like 400. But the Hollywood, like, I remember when I went, like, when I went real broke, when my loan business crashed and the housing market crashed, I could always go to Hollywood and have a good time. I could always go to Hollywood with $20 in my pocket and come home with 10. Always. And that 10 is just what I tipped the bartender for all the free drinks. Or I'll go with 30 and come home with 20, because if I brought somebody, well, usually I'll tip them 20 and drink all night. I did that. I went like a year without getting a single paycheck when the housing market crashed in 2007. When shit got real bad, Hollywood offered me jobs. Like I got to work security, and working security in Hollywood, you get paid. Because it ain't about the $20 an hour. No. It's the tips to get in the VIP. I make $500 to $1,000 a night sometimes working the VIP ropes. And when the housing market crashed and my loan business wasn't making any money, it was Hollywood. It was being able to, the same clubs I was partying at and having a good time at, offered me opportunity to, and I'd always work the best spots. I would always either work the back door or the VIP rope. Back doors where you can sneak niggas in for $100 a head. Because one thing about niggas, we love to showboat and highlight. So if niggas can't get in the front door, they will come around the back door and pay $100 each to get in. Niggas love VIP. Niggas will slide you $50 a head, $100 a head to get in VIP, depending on which rapper or basketball player is up there. So you can make about $500 a night, $1,000 a night working security in Hollywood. Hollywood was good to me when I was down and out. But since I've been up on my feet, I ain't been did a goddamn thing in Hollywood. I ain't been back to that motherfucker. And I don't want to go back. Them years are done, son. Yeah, you right, Andre Bryant. Hollywood is bad if you're trying to get famous. One thing I never would chase is fame. One thing I never chased is fame. No. I'm very fame resistant. I'm extremely fame. Like I've gotten better with it. I like being a regular ass nigga, but Craig Facts has a very far reach. I should get way more views than what they say on the counter. Because everywhere I go, somebody be like, hey, nigga, you from Craig Facts. Man, one day I was standing out here, like right in front of my apartment, like I am right now, and a nigga drove by. I was like, hey, you from Craig Facts. I was like, God damn, this nigga know where I live. But I don't give a fuck about no goddamn fame. If fame come, but I don't give a fuck about no fame. I don't give a shit. So there's nothing Hollywood can do to me to hurt me or harm me. I'm not looking for anything from Hollywood. I appreciate that deep impressions. Did I ever hang out on the rock scene? Yeah, when I was doing my music more, yeah. I hung out on the rock scene in the early 2000s. The Whiskey a Go-Go, the Roxy, Paladinos out in the Valley. But that was more so when I was playing the drums a lot. That was more so when I was doing my music heavy. I would be around the rock scene. It was like this old classic rock joint out in the San Fernando Valley. It was called Paladinos. And they would have like classic rock cover bands out there a lot. And sometimes I would like sub in for a drummer for like a classic rock band. And I'd be around them white folks. Or at the Viper Lounge on Sunset. That was Johnny Depp's club on Sunset. I played the House of Blues a lot on Sunset. And I would play like B.B. King's Blues Club. So in those years, 03 to 05, 06, yeah, I would be around the rock scene. Not a lot, but I'll be around it. I remember meeting Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee was cool as hell. I was in a club one night and Tommy Lee walked up. I was like, yo, Tommy motherfucking Lee. And he ended up DJing that night. Tommy Lee DJ'd that night. That night was actually pretty fun. Tommy Lee DJ'd some house music, that white house music. For the most part, that wasn't really my scene, but every now and again, I fuck with it. Every now and again. Hell yeah, I love the Motley Crue. Vince Neil, man, I love Motley Crue. Shout at the devil. Shout. I love that shit, man. If it was daytime, it's nighttime. I don't want to wake my neighbors. I can't sing Vince Neil without screaming. Man. Yeah, we did a breakdown, Ice Cube death certificate on Mixcloud. Y'all got to check that out. I broke down the messages within the music and how Ice Cube was predicting the LA riots, how he was telling niggas what was coming. You better listen. Yeah, Dr. Feelgood, yep. My goddamn, but me, when I listen to rock, heavy metal, I can only listen to heavy metal. 30 minutes max. 20, 30 minutes. I get about a good 6, 7 songs in, and then I gotta get back to the funk. Or R&B, some soul music, some jazz. Now I can listen to jazz all day sometimes. Sometimes I do that. I'm playing only music that's nobody singing. Just take my mind away. Oscar Peterson, Dizzy Gillespie. I meditate to jazz. Like, all meditation is getting quiet within oneself. And however you get to that journey is how you get to that journey. One way I get to my journey in meditation is with jazz. I play some jazz. I close my eyes. I sit still. And I let my higher self talk to me. I just clear my fucking mind. That's what I do with jazz. I put on some Oscar Peterson. Put on some Coltrane, nigga. Put on some Chick Corea. I don't meditate too much at Chick Corea, but some Roy Hargrove. Man, I close my eyes and zone the fuck out. That's what I love about that show, Winning Time. Every time I see Kareem with his glasses on and his headphones on and he's zoned out, I'll be like, Kareem, I feel you. Niggas don't know how much of a journey you can go on just listening to jazz and being quiet and letting the music take your mind. Get out your mind and get into your soul. That's why I can't listen to that much hip hop either. Like, I love hip hop, but I'm not gonna listen to, when it comes to rap, I got about a 2-hour time limit on rap for me. 2 hours. I can listen to an album, maybe another one. But then I gotta get out of that. I gotta hear that live instrumentation. I gotta hear some violins in the background. I gotta hear some singers singing background 3-part harmony. I gotta hear a live drummer, a live bass player. I gotta hear somebody sing from their soul with no auto-tune, no special effects, skill. Nigga ain't got no lights on. You about to get a ticket, nigga. How you gonna be driving that loud with no lights? Motherfucker. But back to what I was saying. My music, man, I gotta hear that live. I gotta hear that authentic shit. I can't fuck with that auto-tune. I can only take a drum machine for so long. And a lot of times but it don't necessarily mean having to go back to the 70s. It's current music like that. J-Mo, my man J-Mo and Charlie Be Real, they just released a new song last month called Milk and Honey. Download that song. Them motherfuckers, it's Corey Henry, Charlie Burrell, and Jarris Mosey. It's a song called Milk and Honey. That shit dope. This nigga Adrian Young, he be pumping out good ass music. This is a group called K-Trotta. I'm going to see them tomorrow. Jazz band out of Inglewood. Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper. Nigga. Brandon Williams. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank. PJ Morton. BJ the Chicago Kid. There's niggas out there. Anderson .Paak. Anthony Hamilton. There's still a lot of good music out there now that play it right. Yeah, I gotta listen to them horns, man. That nigga Larry Smith said drive-by. Silk Sonic is cool. I like Silk Sonic aesthetically, but it's missing the soul. It's missing that mustard. Now, I will say this. Blast Off, now that I think Blast Off is by far my favorite song on the Silk Sonic album. Because Blast Off is the one song I feel is like, it's them, it's current. You can't recreate the 70s. You can't do it. The musicians out of the 70s, they grew up in the era before, during Jim Crow, and just after Jim Crow. They have a different level. You gotta remember, the musicians of the 70s, these no disrespect to other groups, but these is foundational Black Americans. These is 92%, 95% of the black of us all come from that common experience from the South, moving to the North and moving to the West. So these are the people whose grandparents and great-grandparents came from slavery here. These are the people who grew up listening to their parents listened to Muddy Waters and Petey Wheatstraw. Their parents listened to Howlin' Wolf and Bo Diddley
and their parents grew up on Count Basie and fucking Louis Armstrong. So that's the experience the musicians out of the 70s are coming from. They live in these towns up north that are employed by this before the jobs got shipped to China. So that's why the music is so great out of Philadelphia, Ohio, Detroit, Cleveland. Can't sleep on Chicago. Curtis Mayfield of Chicago. The music recording industry was centered in Chicago through the 60s. LA. So, and we did have our Jamaican brother, but he was raised in Philadelphia. Tom Bell over at Philadelphia International, he wrote a lot of those songs. He's Jamaican heritage, but raised in America. But this is us. And those black people had an experience and a certain experience that they put into the music. And that's why it's called soul music. Back then, bands, Parliament, nigga, Parliament, Bootsy said that they would play until they couldn't play no more. Parliament was known for having 12, 14-hour jam sessions. And I mean back to back to back. They jamming 14 hours a day, getting the sound right. You can't recreate that, man. That's all I'm saying. You can't recreate that. So, Silk Sonic was a great, sonically, it was it. It was everything. It was great, sonically. But music is about the feeling. You can't recreate the feeling of 1975 in Black America. Impossible. Can't be done. That was a unique time in American history that we'll never get again. The best we can do is take what we learned from that decade and make it the sound of today. And I think that's what Silk Sonic did with Blast Off. Blast Off sounded like, okay, we're not about to recreate the 70s on this song. We're about to make a funky song for today. You also got to know the song 777. That's the Bo Diddley backbeat. You can't do like doom 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 a doom doom. That's the Bo. The song 777 was Bo Diddley. Everybody tries to do Bo Diddley, but you can't do Bo Diddley. You can sound good, but you can't do Bo Diddley. You're never going to recreate that. Bo Diddley come out the South, man. Bo Diddley was a farmer. Bo Diddley got on a train to get the fuck up out the South. Bo Diddley created his own guitar. Yes, the box guitar that Bo Diddley used was a guitar that he created. Bo Diddley had his own dance that Elvis made famous, the Bo Diddley dance, where he kind of played the guitar and dance on one leg. That was the Bo Diddley dance that Elvis took and made famous. Bo Diddley had a rhythm that went don't, a don't. If you ever hear that rhythm on a song, don't, a don't, a don't. That's the Bo Diddley backbeat. And that man died broke while Sting, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Van Halen, and all these motherfuckers became fucking gajillionaires off that rhythm. Bo Diddley. Don't ever forget Bo Diddley. Don't ever forget Bo Diddley. Let's see. How do I feel about R. Kelly's music? I was never a fan of R. Kelly's music. My favorite, I like Honey Love with Public Announcement. I like that song, Honey Love. I like the 12 Play album for the most part, and I like the song Step in the Lane of Love, and I like the song Happy People. Outside of those songs, I never really fucked with R. Kelly's music. Honestly. Now, at the same time, I do think he's a genius. I do think that he's a genius. That whole series that he had, the Mr. Big series, that was some genius shit. R. Kelly is definitely a genius, but I don't really fuck with his music. Never really have. Here come all that greatest American artist ever. There is no greatest American artist ever. He said nobody has a catalog. What the fuck you talking about? Miles Davis has a better catalog than he does. R. Kelly did nothing to change the course of music. Stevie Wonder has a better catalog than R. Kelly. Smokey Robinson has a deeper catalog than R. Kelly. If you say no one has a better catalog, you don't know catalogs. You can say that's your favorite. That's fine. Nothing wrong with somebody being your favorite. But there is no one greatest. It's a plateau of greatness. It's a lot of greats. We black people. Black people produce greats like Tic Tacs, nigga. It ain't no one person standing up over everybody else. It's a plateau of greatness. Sammy Davis Jr. R. Kelly ain't got shit on Sammy Davis Jr. If you want to go there, Sammy Davis Jr. started on TV at the age of 4. He was on TV till he died. The motherfucker has dozens of movies. He has major hits in music. He was the best dancer of his day. Sammy Davis Jr. played the drums, played the piano, played the horn. He was a vaudeville actor, nigga. What the fuck you talking about? You know how many great black people that are out there that have done major things? He ain't pumped out more hits than Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington's hits span over 50 years. He ain't better than Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones produced jazz, funk, R&B, hip hop, and was an innovator in all of those. He ain't innovated more than Herbie Hancock. Nigga, you know how many fucking great black people that are... We gotta stop this competition, black people. We just gotta say that, look, nigga, we great. And every generation, another nigga come through doing some great shit. Another 10, not one. Every generation, it's about 10, 15 great niggas. There's so many great niggas out there, man, that we don't forgot about. There's so many great niggas that we done forgot about. Nigga, Ella Fitzgerald, nigga, Ella Fitzgerald changed the way singers sing. Today, the way singers enunciate words is due to Ella Fitzgerald. The only reason why Ella Fitzgerald even became a singer is because she was at the Apollo and she was supposed to dance, but the dance crew was real good that went on before her. She was like, man, I can't follow that. So she sang on a whim and won. And then Count Basie picked her up. No, not Count Basie. Before Count Basie, what's his name? The short nigga on the drums in New York. I'm drawing a blank. If you know jazz, you know who I'm talking about. He died in 1940. Chick Webb. Chick Webb was the biggest actor in New York. He picked her up, and he called her ugly. He was like, man, she too ugly to sing for me. And this Chick Webb was a midget with back problems that couldn't even walk without being on crutches. He was in a wheelchair, but he called her ugly. But he hired her for the band, put her on. Count Basie put her on. And Ella Fitzgerald changed the way singers enunciated their words. R&B wouldn't be possible without Ella Fitzgerald. Black people, we got Fats Domino, nigga. When Fats Domino came in with the stride piano, that sound, that laid the foundation for what will become R&B rock and roll. There would be no R&B if it weren't for Fats Domino. Go back, not Fats Domino. Fats Domino was jazz. See, that's another great, Fats Domino. There would be no reggae and ska music without Fats Domino, one of the greatest R&B acts of all time. Fats Waller, it's two Fats. There was plenty of Fats, but the other Fat is Fats Waller. Go look him up, the 1920s. When Fats Waller came in with this stride piano sound, that sound was the basis for how R&B would eventually become structured. And the way Fats Waller sang, go look up a song called The Milkman by Fats Waller. My very best friend, the milkman. Go look that song up. That song changed the way music was sung. And what will become rock and roll R&B was based off of Fats Waller. Nigga, don't ever say one black artist is greater than the next. We have a plateau of greatness. We gotta stop that shit. I'm not even talking about the blues guys. I'm not talking about Petey Wheatstraw and Robert Johnson. I'm not even gonna bring how Robert Johnson changed the course of blues, but died before he ever got to see that moment come. We're not even gonna talk about how Dizzy Gillespie seeded Latin jazz from a foundational black American named Dizzy Gillespie. Salsa music, foundational black American named Dizzy Gillespie. Bossa Nova, foundational black American named Dizzy Gillespie. Bebop, the sound that would become hip hop, foundational black American named Dizzy Gillespie. The Loneliest Monk, Charlie Parker. The sound that will become hip hop was founded in bebop. Nigga, we got a plateau of greatness, black people. Fuck these competitions. And I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying it because this is something that we do as a culture. Because when you make everything a competition, you inherently have to put a God down. And why would you ever want to put a God down? A God is a God. James Brown's a God. And Michael Jackson's a God. Prince is a God. Stevie Wonder's is gods. You don't put these gods down. You appreciate the gods. Because if we don't appreciate the gods, we're going to stop getting gods. We got to appreciate and have reverence for the gods. If you want to compete, play basketball. It ain't no wrong competition. Go hoop. If you want to compete, you compete with yourself. Outdo yourself today better than you did yesterday. You don't compete with other people. Competing with other people is a low-level mindset. There's an old saying, regular people compete with each other. The bosses compete with the ideas, visions. You compete with yourself. You play sports. Or if you want to compete in music, become a musician. Learn an instrument and compete against everybody in your field. Pick up a guitar and become a better guitar player than anybody else. That's how you compete in music. If you're in that, I'm a drummer. If I wanted to compete, that would become for me to become the best drummer on earth. That's where my competition would be. Or if I'm a music producer, be the best music producer on earth. If I'm a singer, be the best singer on earth. That's where competition comes in music. If you just listening to this shit, you don't even have the standing to judge. You can state your preferences, but your judgments are irrelevant. Because art is subjective. What's great to me is dog shit to you. So there's nothing to compete over. Because if you're competing about who's your favorite artist, okay, if it's a competition, how do you score? What's the scoring system? How do I get 1 point? How do you get 1 point? What are the rules? What's a foul? What are we playing to? What are the parameters for the argument? So all these other factors you got to consider if it's a competition. So it's not a competition. And another thing, he said, I've looked at the comments in a few minutes, but the last time I looked down, somebody said you got to move on. Well, if I got to move on, why are you talking about R. Kelly? R. Kelly ain't had a hit since what, 2007, 8? Been well over a decade. That's the past, so move on. If it's really about moving on, you wouldn't have brought up R. Kelly. You probably would have brought up Drake. Or you would have brought up Kendrick Lamar, somebody who's out making hits now. You wouldn't have brought up somebody who's the prime of their career was 25 years ago. It's about appreciating the gods. They're all gods. Ronald Isley. When we talk about hits, Ronald Isley had a #1 in 5 different decades. The Isley Brothers. How about when we talk about hits? 59, Scream and Shout. I had Ronald Isley Brothers, every year from 72 to 83 when one of their brothers died, their albums were hits in the most competitive era of music of all time without a horn section. Yeah, KG, I'm my only competition. Smokey Robinson's a living legend. Stevie Wonder's a living legend. Nobody has what Stevie. Nobody can say they've done what Stevie Wonder's done musically. The reason why men sing the way they sing today is because Stevie Wonder. Men today, including R. Kelly, sing the way they sing because of Stevie Wonder. Those long runs, men didn't sing like that before Stevie Wonder. Those long runs, where they going up and down the scale. Listen to 12 Play. 12 Play by R. Kelly. That's him being Stevie Wonder vocally. Listen to Computer Love by Zapp and Roger and Charlie Wilson. That's Charlie Wilson. As great as Charlie Wilson is, a legend. That's Charlie Wilson trying to sound like Stevie Wonder. Not the other way around. Okay? Let's get it straight. Let's get it straight. And on top of that, when people want to talk about artists, let me tell you something that I put on the scale when I'm weighing an artist's contribution. Out of all of the art that you produced, what did it add to humanity? How did it change humanity? Like, what did you contribute to the world with your art? What message did you leave the people that you had an impression on? If the only thing you left your people is fun and sun, me personally, the way I judge an artist, I'm not going to put you as high up on the scale as someone who, with their art, including having great love music, they have life music that gave you game on how to be a better person and move society forward. Did they ever use their talents to write a song to question the condition of the society we live in? Because no matter what you say, at the end of the day, black people live in a world where we're under complete oppression. We're in a system of white supremacy. We're in a system that's out to kill us. Did you use your art? And I'm not saying you had to do this for every album, but did you ever take time out during the prime of your career to write a message that was going to empower your people to get through to another day? The reason why I asked that question is because James Brown did it during the prime of his career. Stevie Wonder did it during the height of his career. Marvin Gaye had to sue Motown. He had to take his own record label to court to write a message in what's going on to inspire our people. Curtis Mayfield did it. Aretha Franklin did it. Michael Jackson did it. History. Bad. Black Americans have a long history of our best artists, not the side artists, them too. Earth and Fire did it. Parliament did it. We have a very long history of the best of our artists writing music that pushed and elevated black people and gave us a message to help us deal with our day-to-day problems. Now Marvin Gaye went right back to his next album was Let's Get It On. You could talk about fucking all you want. But if you didn't take time out in your career as an artist to leave a piece of art that was going to help push us forward or give us a solution to our problems, then in my book, you're just not on the same level as those who did that. I'm not taking nothing away. I ain't taking nothing away from you, but I can't put you on the level of those Ray Charles that did that. Tupac, Ice Cube, Outkast, Nas, Kendrick, yep, Ozzy Brothers. You don't have to, hell, you can make message music and party music. One of Earth and Fire's biggest hits was a party song called Mighty Mighty. And they made a party song where it was all about fun. But do you know what the song Mighty Mighty was about? We are the mighty people. We are the mighty, mighty people of the sun. That was one of their biggest party hits. But in the song, he's saying, we are the mighty, mighty people of the sun, black people. And in our hearts lie all of the answers to the truth you can't run from. One of their biggest hits, telling you who you are as a black man. You dancing, you don't even know what this nigga's talking about. They telling you the mighty people of the sun. And in your heart, you keep partying to that long enough, it's gonna get in your subconscious. Nigga, one of Earth, Wind & Fire's biggest hits is September. September gets played, and I forgot to play September on my Earth, Wind & Fire tribute. That's the one song I didn't play that I didn't get to on my Earth, Wind & Fire tribute. But September is a party song. They still play that shit on TV commercials today. That song is about the rising of the, that song is about the vernal equinox, fall. Shit, James Brown, one of his biggest hits was a song called Funky President. People, people, we got to get over before we go under. That was like the biggest party tune of like, well, one of the biggest party tunes of like 1970, 1969. People, people, we got to get over before we go under. We just got a new funky president. He said, let's get a factory and own some land. Save our money just like the man. Build a factory, own the job, just like the mob. They said build a factory and own the job. This was one of the biggest songs of the late 60s, party song. Niggas was doing the robot. When they came out with the robot, niggas was doing the robot. To people, people, we got to get over before we go under. So don't tell me what an artist can't do and still keep the party going. All right? Michael Jackson had the biggest song of 1992. You remember that song, Remember the Time? Remember the Time was the biggest song of 1992. Michael Jackson wrote a song that in the video, it was the first time you saw black people depicted as Egyptian royalty. And at the same time, he was giving you messages. He was telling you to remember the times that you were running the planet. That's what that song was about. And Michael Jackson also left another nugget. He said, if y'all go back, and I said this before in the show, if you go back and listen to this, to that song, when Michael said, what about you and me in Spain? He was reminding you niggas that you were the Moors of Spain. Michael Jackson had all kinds of messages encoded in Remember the Time. So don't tell me what niggas can't do with a party and a message. We can keep the party going and still drop game. So all I'm saying is this. If you didn't do that in your art, cool. I ain't judging you for not doing it. I'm just not putting you on the level of the niggas who did do it. That's all. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. Even Too Short talked about pussy and then turned around and talked about how to get up out of the ghetto. So don't tell me what our great artists can't do with a message and some music. Gamble and Huff spent the whole want to talk about great writers and producers. Gamble and Huff, Philadelphia International. Nigga, did we forget? They wrote a whole decade of music on love music and positivity. All of those OJ's hits. People all over the world get ready, join the love train. That's Gamble and Huff, nigga. Wake Up Everybody by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. That's Gamble and Huff, nigga. Gamble and Huff and Tom Bell, nigga, come on. We got a plateau of greatness as black people. And Gamble and Huff is still alive, both of them. Michael Jackson, they don't care about us. Yeah, Too Short getting it, yep. Nigga. But I've been on here way too fucking long. I'm about to get up out of here. Somebody said, I gotta handle this lie. Brother. You said Michael Jackson bleached his dark-skinned body because he was ashamed of his skin. Brother, he had vitiligo. It's on his autopsy. You can look it up. Michael Jackson had a skin condition called vitiligo. That's why he wore that silver glove at Motown 25. His hand was turning white, but only his right hand, not his left hand, or whichever hand he had the glove on. Brooke Shields confirmed this, and so does plenty of other people. Michael Jackson's hand was turning white. That's why he had the glove at Motown 25. As the 80s progressed, his skin started getting whiter and whiter. So, because he had the money to, and he's an entertainer whose appearance means everything, he bleached his skin to even it out with the vitiligo. He's not the only person to do this. Mostly anyone who has vitiligo and a lot of money, they do the same. Because if Michael Jackson didn't do that, we would have been clowning him because his face would have looked like a chessboard. That's what vitiligo do. It makes your skin look like a chessboard. You think we got jokes about him bleaching his skin? Imagine the jokes niggas would have had about Michael Jackson looking like marble ice cream. Imagine that. Imagine the jokes about Michael Jackson walking around looking like a set of dice. Imagine the jokes then. Shit. Imagine the jokes about this nigga looking like cookies and cream. They would have really killed Michael Jackson off if he let us see that vitiligo. Shit, I'm a nigga. I know how we are. Niggas would have had all kinds of jokes about Michael Jackson. And on top of that, it would have spooked his goddamn audience. You don't have to have an opinion. You can look up his medical report. Michael Jackson had vitiligo. That's nothing to either agree or disagree about, honestly. It's just what he had. And he handled his disease the way he felt best. And our opinions on that are just our opinions. That's all. This motherfucker. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. I've been on here way too long. Y'all have a good one.